So it appears I botched this yesterday, and it was actually kind of like weird. There was a lot of rain going on. Actually, I might as well start going this way now because this is much more pleasant and quiet. If I take these streets, this set of streets, and it's just a grid. It's just that there's certain neighborhoods that there's just a lot less stuff going on. And then some streets, actually, the slough here, Amazon Creek, cuts the city up in such a way that you then get these weird pockets, It's just diagonal through the grid. So you get these interesting ways that it cuts streets off. So then you get this kind of neat walk. Holy crap. I can't, film this. But basically, this is like a 7-year-old kid with their helmet on, just following the rules, doing the proper traffic stuff, on their way to school, riding their bike to school, just cold chilling, just doing it, just cold chilling, just riding his bike. I'm yeah, even waiting, understanding, the timing and everything. It was real. That very good bike riding skills have been taught there. It's I'm very impressed. Oh my gosh, okay. And huffing and puffing, but that kid's gonna probably be strong as a fucking ox later. Healthy as can be, because of course you don't see that much. You don't see in Eugene, Oregon, king of bike. King of bike, that's what it translates to. Eugene translates to bicycle in Greek. No, that's not so good. Oh, well, that's interesting. Okay, so, now, yeah, this is one of these that places were in here not that long ago. This is 17th. On the other side is 18th. 18th is one of the major, of 4. It's a grid, so every 4 you get kind of a travel street or high street. So the other side of this lot is on the high street of sorts, heavily traveled street. Yeah, and there's less and less here all the time. Of course, Braille's always Braille's is immortal. Her power oversees the power of Korean mom. Buff Jesus is looking down on it. You will never fail. You will be the last thing in this city standing. You, Braille's. By the power of Korean mom. She was really great. She was really something. And that whole crew. People learned how to be service workers at Braille's restaurant, established 1948. And it was great breakfast food, still is probably. I would have no doubts. I would always recommend, if you're going to eat almost any place in Eugene, Oregon, that's a place I could say. I think there's also still that dude's place, Ye Old Waffle House. I don't know if he's still alive. I don't think he is, but I think they're carrying on the business. And that's 13th? On the way out of town, I believe? Or 11th. Something like that. Anyway. USAID. I'm trying to choke down the, oh god damn it, I was so correct. Oh my god. Oh, I gotta change my pants. Let's just do this now. Keep missing the opportunity to cross the street before traffic restarts. So, USAID has this. We've gotten it. This is the reason why the Democrats are so upset about USAID, and there's going to be Republicans who, don't worry. Now, most of them are dead or retired now, who will be really upset. But what it's going to show is that they will have the actual payment records records of operation and who did what when it comes to funding the overthrow of the democratically elected government of Ukraine and establishing this guy who then starts on a war footing and then, says, oh, because we're at war, we can't have elections anymore. And and then everybody in the EU is seeing how this is logic. This is logic. And that anyone who followed it, especially like me, I and the gray zone are now correct. Redacted, the gray zone, me, all these people who are being called like Putin shills and stuff, we're going to be very, very, very much vindicated. There is going to be people who are going to be like, wait a second. Both the secretaries, both the State Department and USAID had plenty of reports of the Ukrainian government initiating attacks on Russian speakers and the areas they live in, intimidating Jews, having groups of goons beat up gypsies, things like this. And so people, what will happen is, because all of the people who are like super, you gotta get Putin. You got to. That's the only reason America exists, is to smite the Poot. That bunch are then going to try to do, well, do you know how bad Poot is? As always, this is the pattern. This is now the pattern. No one can say, okay, I'm no longer going to, be a political commentariat type. I kind of really called this idea of some evils are worse than another totally wrong, because now it has to be this thing of, and you utterly and completely and totally ruined Ukraine. Ukraine's through. The Ukrainian people are scattered. Like the fact that the Democrats have put Vindman into office is just the irony, the cruel, sick, the older I get, the more I'm like, the Democrats are actually the people in our society who are kind of sick. Like, in that way of like, that you're a monster, that's sick, or people who just don't know how to like detach from those types, confront those types. No, you can't be mean to them even though they're monsters and they're sick. That's, you see, it's something about like that part of the culture, he might be depraved, but I mean everybody's got, like something, brain, brain. And so the USAID thing is going to show that there were especially a lot of Democrats who were key in talks constantly with Qatar. One of the times that Trump actually showed everybody that this was going on was when he showed that the squad was had like a few of the older members were, the what do you call those? Not escort. It'll hit me, that they were going to be sitting on the couch between the Qatari interests and the new members of the squad, and so, but then it was, oh no, you can't use a military plane for that, yoink, womp womp. And so this was, now USAID will show us, this is who kept going to Qatar over and over and over, and here's all their missions to Qatar, and this is what it's about. A lot of people are about to be shown out for what they were really getting money from, on the side, how they got rich, what they were involved in. From that, people will be able to dig into possibly their foreign investments, money that they're making from overseas for some reason, consultation fees that they might have collected for something at some point. Who knows? Gifts. This opens up all of those possibilities of that kind of, was it, graft? But then this also, it posits this idea of like, see, this could be the kind of thing of that because somebody made some kind of deal via USAID, they got like more slips in a certain, key dock for ships from their country. So it was a lot easier for them. They could raise the volume of their trade with us. All kinds of a wide variety of ways that you could, when you're powerful, you could play whole countries. But the USAID is going to essentially show, it already has shown, that we were paying for these Free Syrian Army people, but they were also /ISIS the whole time. Well, soon we're going to have all the stuff that said, well, we knew that the whole time. We knew that the whole time we were paying them. We knew the Free Syrian Army was ISIS the whole time. That's what it's going to pan out as. And that opens up a lot of people to a lot of problems. It ends a lot of careers. Yeah. And people need to start hitting the FOIA requests too. One, a lot of people out there, you might want to hit a FOIA request about yourself. Like Styx Hexenhammer should have a FOIA request on himself. Jeremy Hamlin should post a FOIA request on information from the FBI about him. A lot of these people who in some way, shape, or form you would have been called a Russia shill or Putin shill or something like that, you might want to start running a FOIA with just your name through, 2 or 3, one or 2 departments, just to see, did anybody ever open up a case on you? Because it's that time now. We know they were doing things like that. It's actually going to be interesting to see if somebody catches them up. And, they were opening up cases on people just for what they were saying on the internet. So run FOIAs on yourself. The USAID fallout is also going to show probably payments and agreements with pharmaceutical firms that don't have anything to do with COVID. It's going to be real weird. Like, what is this about? And agreements with just a wide variety of shady ass, that'll just be like, what was this? Like, what's, I was consulting on this, that, and the other, and then we're not going to hear, or well, maybe we will, about the prosecution of them, doing something funny with the money. There's a lot of potential here, and the fear that you're seeing, especially from older Democrats, is starting to kind of show the game. A lot of younger Democrats, especially like Democrats who are, your people of color, because now for some reason, wow, the whole building's for sale. Wow. I wonder where the hell they're gonna move all that stuff. Dude. They're gonna, that much space because prices they're still going up for things. So it's not like, it is amazing. It's amazing. The Pacific Northwest is going to face problems. Oh, there we go. And now that USAID is going to open up a whole fascinating can of worms of people who are like academic types and lawyers and especially activists who were given money to do this, that, the other, blah, 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 blah. And it's going to turn out that what they were dealing with were like jihadis, or that in the long run people got smuggled. It's going to be kind of fascinating, because I'm telling you that when they get cut off, you're going to see it get weird pretty quick. They are, and Occupy Democrats. I can almost guarantee you. We're going to find out probably some of that USAID money went to the bailout funds. It's crazy shit like that only makes sense now. Everything is loony now. Everything's Looney Tunes now. So that's why. It has to be bad to the point of Looney Tunes. And the fascinating thing that's going to get me is to see, especially about the Ukraine stuff. Because Trump is now, there's the leak about what Trump is going to do. That information's been leaked. He's just gonna start telling Zelensky, like, this is how this is gonna go. Zelensky apparently is ahead of it with, I'm going to ask the EU or NATO for a nuke. Won't ever happen. The world all collectively laughed their ass off at the little guy, little Kabila's owner. But the thing that's really going to hit, that I think is important, is that it was openly a group, a junta done by people who were Banderite neo-Nazis that we would think of as kind of like organized crime in our country. It would be like handing a country over to it would be like actually handing Idaho over to the AB. Wow. I hadn't really put it together that way. Or like Texas, handing Texas over to the Hammers. There we go.
Wait.
It would be like as if the CIA did an elaborate operation to get the Texas Hammers in charge of the Texas government. And then they just put a bunch of people in the front on TV who are acceptable at the time and saying, no, this isn't a government run by the Hammerskins. No, this is totally a democracy. We're just happening to go to war with Mexico because we have to unseat their leader. I mean, like, that's kind of like how crazy. I've been trying to figure out parallels for years. And like, but that would be sort of like what it is. And that you have like this weird little fellow in Texas asking, well, you're going to have to give me nukes. Oh my God. President Ethan. No, I'm not going to say it. That's kind of fucked up. It's kind of fucked. I haven't seen how Mr. Ralph is doing, so I won't make fun. He's probably doing way better than he was, because I've heard he's kind of come back, went to rehab. But this is how, kind of, now of course the history is totally of course, but I'm having a little bit of fun. But this whole thing that the Gray Zone had long reported, all the stuff that it was like, those are Russian propagandists reporting this, that, or the other, that's totally accurate about attacks on gypsies, about the Banderites having regular youth marches and stuff, the multiple part, like 6-part, 8-part set of documentary interviews, footage, following them around. Vice News clearly mapped out, oh no, these people are running camps for the kids to be the next generation of this. And it just doesn't, now it's like, well, you guys are going to find out, that's what USAID was going to. That's going to be one of those splashes that's going to be amazing. Did you know you're paying for this summer camp? And, yeah. So, that's where my head's at right now. with these drops. I'm absolutely certain I'm way ahead of time. Yes, I am absolutely way ahead of time. But that's where my head's at with these drops. This is going to be this is probably where the Democratic Party kind of dies. Because everything that I've said over the years, I've warned a lot of Democrats. Your party got involved in some things that, if ever caught, there's not going to be a way out of. And now USAID drops are about to show everybody this. And it was the leadership of your party. But then what it's now looking like with the media doing an entire dance to make you go along with it, their song and dance. And how you then, all the FBI agents at Twitter making sure that there was nobody who could really respond. Spreading this idea around that there was all these Russian bots that were doing this, that, and the other. Turned out that was fake. That wasn't a real story. That was something ginned up by the CIA and the Democrats and people on the left. They had got on Joe Rogan to spread it. The woman who discovered the Russian bot farm, and I'm like, or like the stay-at-home mom or something. And when she's describing this, I'm like, wait, I'm not buying this. I'm like, I've seen the bots develop, for years on Twitter, not buying it. There were even bots in the comment on YouTube. So it was one of these things now that I'm just like, you all are going to see something pretty amazing happen, I'm thinking. Because it looks like, and because there's nothing less. That whatever Republican just utterly crushes, Rubio's getting it. He's apparently getting this. He can utterly crush all opposition. He now has a position that, almost anyone who would ever be able to defeat him in a presidential candidacy or whatever he wants to do, that'll never happen. He's got them. He's got them. He's got too much on them. Now he's going to be able to utterly crush his political opposition. And it looks like he is feeling his power level quite assuredly. And Democrats are feeling their power level, and they're doing what they do. They're mewing. And it's like, no, you asked for this. You wanted this. You made it clear you thought these were the rules, or even something stranger. And now you're getting what you obviously sort of were kind of asking for. But and there's going to be, like, for decades, just like my grandpa was talking about, like, the fights people had, and it went on for decades. There's some people, you go into the wrong place, talk about FDR for, like, way into the 60s. So, the thing is, though, this is going to be kind of it, that it's like, yeah, no, Democrats done fucked up real bad. And a lot of the young Democrats, you didn't know. You're new to this. You had no real clue it could be this crazy and this bad. You really could not conceive of, like, why would anybody step so far away from their principles? And then you're going to realize, like, that's what politicians are. This is why Republicans treat their politicians the way they do. Got it. Okay, that's starting to make, now I'm getting it, So yeah, but boy, oh boy. Just The level of vindication is just unreal. Unreal. All right, later.